Hi everyone, this is Herschel Franklin. I am reading to you a book I wrote about my dog called Murphy. It's this book. It's one dog story, and it's copyrighted 2009. I tell you the dog story from the dog's point of view. I tell you the human story from my point of view. We're ready for chapter 8, called Rabbit Fricassee. The dog story. Not long after I had determined to quit chewing so much, I hit the lowest point of my life. It nearly ruined me. I was so surprised when I first saw it. My female human had a rabbit right there in the house. It had floppy ears and looked about half grown and light brown in color. She was holding it and let Bo and me sniff it. I just stood there staring at it. I'd never seen a human hold a rabbit. "It's a rabbit, Murphy," she said. Well, sure, I knew that. All dogs know what a rabbit is, the lowest thing in the food chain. "His name is Flopsy." Now that was going too far, I thought. She had a rabbit in the house. She was holding it, and she had even given it a name. And what kind of a name was that? Anyway, Flopsy. Why not call it Fricassee? Yeah, I thought that was a good name the first time I ever heard it. Rabbit Fricassee. Don't scare him now, he's just a baby. He's not full grown. Oh, I thought, he's going to get bigger, is he? Well, okay. "Welcome aboard, Fricassee," I said as Bo and I were ushered out to the yard. "We'll get together another time." I saw Fricassee from time to time, and he really did get bigger. My gosh, he was a large rabbit. I couldn't believe it when the female human brought old Fricassee, now fully grown, and left him in the backyard. "Oh my gosh," I said, "there's old Fricassee." I headed straight toward him to welcome him to the yard. "I'd leave him alone if I was you," said Bo. "Why?" I asked. "I just want to welcome him. What's wrong with that?" "I'm just saying that I'd leave him alone if I was you. There'll not be anything good from talking to a rabbit." I trotted over to him just to say hello. "Hello, Fricassee," I said. The rabbit's eyes got real big and bugged out, and he started to run. Hey, a game of tag, I thought, so I ran after him, and I tagged him. I took him down and playfully rolled him around on the ground. Now remember, we dogs don't have opposable thumbs. We use our mouth to do things humans do with their hands, so I had to roll him around with my mouth. "Murphy!" I heard that all right. It was like a loud scream. I jerked my head around, old Fricassee in my mouth, and there stood the humans, both of them, and they didn't look happy at all. I wagged my tail and tried to smile, but I couldn't because I had a mouthful of rabbit. The human female, she took him from my mouth, she looked him over and said, "You've killed him. You've killed Flopsy." It was somewhere between a yell and a cry. "Fricassee," I tried to correct her. I quickly realized I needed to stay out of the conversation. She wasn't interested in anything I had to say on the subject. My human was more under control. He looked at the rabbit and said, "You know, there don't appear to be any puncture marks. I think he died of shock." Then she yelled at him, "If he died of shock, it's because your dog shocked him." She attacked him and well, yeah, okay. Okay, he was shocked to death. All right, I understand that. And then she said, "I don't know why you can't control that dog." And I didn't think I'd actually attacked him. I never meant to, at least. Then I heard my human fire back, "If you didn't want this to happen, you shouldn't have turned him loose back here. She's just a dog doing what dogs do. Dogs kill rabbits and they eat them." I wasn't going to eat him, but now that the subject had been brought up, there was no need to let a perfectly good rabbit go to waste. We've got to quit bringing animals around here. We don't need so many. I'm not sure she heard that. She was storming back into the house. Well, it was quite a time. It was very quiet, and all I could think of was that time, a long time ago, when my human had told me never to come between a man and his wife because I would always lose. I couldn't believe it. I'd caused them to argue, and I was going to get kicked out. But it wasn't my fault, was it? She should have never brought that rabbit back there. I wasn't trying to hurt him. I didn't know rabbits were so fragile that they could die of fright in a game of tag. It's not like I was trying to eat him. No, that's not true. The truth is, I knew exactly what I was doing, and I was going to eat him. My human was right. That's what dogs have always done. When we can, we kill and eat rabbits. It was hard for me to feel bad about doing something I was genetically designed to do, but it was easy to feel bad that I had caused problems for my human. Maybe I didn't belong there. This was my mood when Bo came running. "Murphy, Murphy," he shouted. "You won't believe it. The human just went through the gate and he left it open. Come on, let's explore." I might as well, I thought. No one wanted me there anymore. So Bo and I went out the gate and into the wide open world. I had never seen him so happy, and I soon forgot all about my heinous crime. The human story. I don't know why we brought that rabbit home. The way I was raised, rabbits were a food source. They were not pets. And bringing a rabbit into the home full of dogs made about as much sense as asking a dog to watch pork chop while you leave the room to take a call. When you return, the pork chop will likely be missing and the dog will have pig on his breath. I understand some people have a soft spot for all animals, and they would surround themselves with every kind there is if it's something they could do. It's called a Noah complex, or at least it should be. She was right in her tenderness. It was what made her what she was. All these parts go into our being and make us what we are. And it was her completeness that I loved, the complete her. I had apologized for being cross with her. Actually, I didn't really think I'd been all that cross, but she did. So I apologized, and I apologized for Murphy. I had learned a long time ago to just apologize for most any conflict. I'd given that advice to a nephew one time. He and his very young and pretty wife had gotten into an argument at a family gathering. He had stormed over to where his dad and I were visiting, and I advised him to apologize. "I'm not going to apologize to her," he had said. "She ought to apologize to me." "David," I said, "this is the best advice I'm ever going to give you, and then I'll stay out of it. Maybe she should, but she won't. And there's not a woman over there that wouldn't advise her to. This thing won't ever be over until she says it's over, until you cinch it up and go apologize." He didn't like it then, but they're still together today. After apologizing for myself and my dog, and for God's making rabbits so fragile at the bottom of the food chain, and for World War II, and for that unkind thing Freud said, I asked her if she wanted me to get rid of Murphy. "Of course not," she snapped, seemingly shocked that I would ever entertain such an unkind and uncharitable thought. I went outside to break the good news to Murphy, but she wasn't at the door to greet me. I quickly glanced over the back of the yard and didn't see either dog. So I went to the side yard where Bo had been spending quite a bit of time lately. As soon as I rounded the corner of the house, I knew they were gone. There stood the gate, wide open. Bo was out there somewhere, only God knew where, and I had no idea where to start looking. It could be days before I would find him, if at all. It had happened before, and he had a tendency to duck his head and charge on until he was completely lost. I'd seen him do it once before, while all the time I was trying to call him back. He just blocked out any thought of home when he got out like that. This time, though, he had taken Murphy with him. If I couldn't find them, they were homeless and on the streets. And that kind of dog is a vulnerable dog. They are vulnerable to the pound or abuse from people, vulnerable to city traffic and other dogs. And if I could get out of town, away from a populated area, if they could, it was in trouble from things it had never seen or even imagined before. I only hoped that if I couldn't find them, they would be taken in by someone who cared as much for them as I did. And that's the end of chapter 8.